Good morning, everyone. Another fantastic Saturday morning. Well, it's pretty good around here anyway. The temperature is 77 degrees. We have a great, cool summer Saturday morning, which is fantastic. I am going to, let me see something here. Oh, that's about right. I'm just checking over there on the Vertical YouTube channel. No, that should be up and running, right? Yeah, there we are. Just wanted to check and make sure we got the right feed to the right place. Vertical versus horizontal. Most everybody is horizontal landscape. Our first comment from our friend Ben Bowser. Good morning from the sweltering 92 plus degrees Louisiana swamps. Hope everyone had a good week. Absolutely. Ben says, you see, Resolve just had a massive update. Yes, well, that's very usual for them. Of course, they have massive updates all the time. Like Final Cut's had a few of those, but not since only from 10.4 back. Nothing like that massive update since then. Well, they've had medium updates, but not massive. Our friend from the X platform, I Nobody. Good morning from Brazil. Rogerio, Alista, good morning from Jamaica. Our friend Daniel, good morning from Quebec, Canada. Is winter in Brazil right now. That's so bizarre. Growing up, I've had seasons, but we're like at the end of spring, right at the middle of summer, right at the beginning of summer. So to think that you're in the middle of winter is just, I can't get my head around that. What kind of temperature is 9 degrees Celsius in south of the country? There you go. Good morning from Southern California. Absolutely fantastic. Fantastic. So we're gonna keep on trudging along here on Saturdays, every Saturday, throughout the summer. Might take a day off. I have to see how that goes. Might take a Saturday off sometime in July or August to see how that goes. I mean, I think, we can come on, I think, at least for a half an hour to an hour, even when there's nothing, right now, there's nothing going on in the world of Final Cut Pro. That's why I called this episode the Dog Days of Summer. It's exactly why I called it the Dog Days of Summer, because there's really zero going on. Here's our friend from Twitch TV. Fantastic. Kilobyte 808. 70 degrees Fahrenheit in Lincoln, Nebraska with thunderstorm watch. We've had a few thunderstorms as well. I live on the East Coast. I live in Carroll County, which is a rural county, but it's northwest of Baltimore and due north of Washington, D.C. A little bit closer to Baltimore, but about the same distance to Washington, D.C. Good morning from Charlotte. Absolutely. We got a lot of people watching this morning, which is really good. That's what we like. The more, the merrier for our get-together. Look, this is like a private club, but it's not private, it's public, but you have to kind of know where it is and the time. It's not, I post it in a lot of places, so we got a couple of, we'll see. We got a couple of things happening on Final Cut TV over the next couple of weeks, and you will be the first to know about them because you follow along and you come around. Dog days. I never understood that saying, because if you saw how good my dogs live, a dog's life is pretty darn sweet. And I agree with you. If I had any dogs, it would be exactly the same. It would be exactly the same, but our cats are just like that. Did you see Splice Kit for Final Cut Pro? I have seen that, but somebody has to explain it to me exactly. Is it like I know it's a third-party thing, but I'm not sure how it works. Is it a what do they call those things? Is it a what do they call them? Not a plug-in, something else. What the heck's going on? I get all these hearts coming up here. Who in the heck's doing that? I'm not sure. Did you see anything in the WWDC keynote to hint at anything that could end up in Final Cut Pro? Kilobyte 808 says he's doing all those hearts on YouTube. I see. You're on both platforms. Kilobyte, I'm putting you in charge. Kilobyte 808, I'm putting you in charge of the Twitch TV portion of things. Look, this is what it looks like on my end. All these hearts are coming up everywhere. So, does a brave soul have dare to install macOS 27 Golden Bridge plus try any Pro apps on a separate volume? I won't until it's not in beta. I'll install it on a separate volume in September or October when it's officially released. There's no reason for me to try it ahead of time. I'm doing fine on. Am I on Sequoia? What am I on? I always forget. I think Sequoia. Yeah, I'm on Sequoia 15.7. I've been there for years, absolutely for years. But I'm going to get back to Ben's comment. Did you see anything in the WWDC keynote to hint at anything that could end up in Final Cut Pro? Interestingly, if you saw my video, I did the history of Final Cut Pro at WWDC on my YouTube channel. And we've seen Final Cut Pro on screen half a dozen times. 2013, a bunch of other times. And we saw it in 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2024. Didn't see it in 2025 and did not see it in 2026. Now, I don't know what that means. It's not a Final Cut Pro event, so we always hope to see it because since we're Final Cut Pro enthusiasts. Marcelo Faraz is always with us every Saturday watching your show. He did some great videos about Splice Kit. Yeah, it's some kind of I don't know, it's third party something to let you do things like make a mixer in Final Cut Pro. Yeah, I'm still on Sequoia too. I never switched to Mac OS 26. I have it installed. I can boot up into it. But I remember when it came out, and I make a separate volume on my hard drive, and I installed it, and I started porting my apps over and porting my setups over, my preferences and stuff. There was about 2 or 3 apps that were a little bit wonky. At that point, I stopped because they work fine. They work fine in Sequoia. So at that point, I stopped. It's still there. I'm probably not going to ever use it. I'll probably go right to Mac OS 27 if there's a reason to. There's a new Core Raw 9 engine coming for stills, though. Though the interesting thing was it the new Photos app where you could reframe your subject from different angles and move them around and stuff? That was pretty cool. And also, if you wanted to make a zoom out and fill in some background, you could do that. That's in Photos. I mean, that seems pretty cool. I mean, not seems pretty cool. It's very cool. Absolutely very, very cool. So Whether that ports over to, who knows? Look, listen, this is what they do. Final Cut Pro team. For whatever reason, they watch the show on Saturdays. For whatever reason, they keep us in the dark. They don't tell us anything. They don't give us any kind of a clue what's going on. And this is the time when we're going to get a big update. Whenever they're silent, whenever there's radio silence, and there has been January 28th, we got Final Cut Pro 12. That was announced publicly in advance. They announced it in the middle of January, January the 28th, Final Cut Pro 12. Ever since then, zip. They've kept us completely in the dark. They had a little teeny bug fix update. They jumped from 12 to 12.2. I don't know why they jumped from 12 to 12.2 with 2 little bug fixes. Ever since then, nothing. 0. So it's been 5 months. It's going to be 5 months. 6 months will be July. Typically, they don't give us a feature update, but every 6 months. That's usually the minimum for a feature update. But normally, there's no feature updates over the summer. Very, very rarely are there feature updates over the summer. Maybe there's a bug fix update. Sometime I've seen one in late June or early July. But as far as feature updates, which is what we're interested in, very rarely, I don't think they've ever done a big feature update in the middle of the summer. I didn't spot Final Cut Pro in the WWDC ending music video. They did say edited, shot with the iPhones, edited on a Mac. They did not say edited on Final Cut Pro on the Mac. So that could be Premiere, that could be Avid, that could be DaVinci Resolve. They could have edited that. And listen, I really don't want the Final Cut Pro team dictating what their producers, what NLE they use. They could give them incentives. They could say, if you edit on Final Cut Pro, we'll let you use, or we'll give you these MacBook Pros to edit with. Something like that would be pretty cool. But let the producers edit with what they want to edit with. I'm using macOS Tahoe 26.5. The problem with Tahoe reported by Pro is liquid glass, slow down, many plugins, graphics intensive. That's supposed fixed in 27. Okay, that's pretty cool. That's good to know, but I'm not updating to 26. There's no reason for me to. Not yet. Well, like I said, I have it on a separate volume. That's all. That is all. But not in the lyrics to the icon. Absolutely. Our friend Eric says, 8 days left until Final Cut Pro Summit, end of spring. Well, they didn't say the end of spring. They said spring 2026. Listen, it's still up. It says Final Cut Pro Creative Summit coming the spring of 2026. So completely missed that. Completely missed that. That was completely a red herring. Not only was it a red herring, they haven't corrected it. They keep us in the dark. They keep us in the dark. I don't know why. Why can't you say we made a misjudgment about having the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit? We said it would be the spring of 2026. It's not here in the spring of 2026. So we are going to aim for November 2026. Or we're going to cancel it. Or we're going to cancel the Creative Summit for 2026. They canceled it for 2025. They canceled the Creative Summit for 2025. so far, there's no word of it for 2026. Nobody said a darn thing about it. And this is 100% Apple. This has nothing to do with FMC. FMC is ready to go, and as soon as Apple gives them a date, they'll set things up. So you're saying there's still a chance? Well, no, it's not a chance because you need to give people 60 to 90 days advance so they can make preparations, airfare, hotels, taking off work, make arrangements for somebody to sit with the dog, etc. Remember many, many years ago, Microsoft did a Windows commercial with extensive high-end 3D graphics. When it leaked, it was all done on Macs. There was some backlash. I think the matter of optics, Apple doesn't use their own products, just saying. Well, I think they tell us when they do. They said it was edited on a Mac, but obviously you would have thought if they edited it on Final Cut Pro on the Mac, they would have said so. They would have said so. Listen, the keynote wasn't anything special. You know, I'm not a big fan of having grass and high weeds in the background when you're doing a keynote. I don't like that unless you're doing a gardening show. I would have liked for everybody to been inside of Apple campus, inside the spaceship, but I'm not a big fan of that grass flowing in trees in the background and stuff when you're talking about tech. I am using Mac OS 26, latest everything, 0 slowdowns or issues across 5 Macs. Very good. Final Cut Pro Creative Summit is now Final Cut Pro Creative Remit. Gardening show. Well, don't you think, I don't like grass in the background when you're talking about tech. I don't like these YouTubers that come on and they got plants, ferns in the background. It drives me crazy. That has nothing to do with tech. That's old school stuff for whatever. When I was at the National Archives, I was a post-production supervisor down there for 8.5 years. Anytime they would do a set design for the stage, we had a 300-seat theater, and we would do 100 shows a year, live shows, book authors, politicians, comedians, all kinds of stuff. Presidents. I would always, if sometimes the set designers would put plants up there, and I'd always try to get these off the stage. Haven't you ever heard of the show Between Two Ferns? They're making fun of that. I don't like plants, but especially, when this last keynote was there was grass, tall grass, weeds growing everywhere behind them. That's not a good backdrop for tech. Get inside that spaceship. Show us some of Tim Cook's controls for the spaceship. I know he can make it blast off. Show us some of those controls. I mean, when he leaves, he's probably going to blast off from his office and go through the roof. And they're going to show that. Don't give us weeds and tall grass. What's that say about what you're trying to convey? Are you trying to teach us how to garden? I would never, if I was in charge, never have approved that. Apple could have said something to us. They don't have to give detail, but at least keep the community updated. Exactly. What is wrong? You have millions of Final Cut Pro users, 5 million, 6 million. Hundreds of us are interested, thousands of us are interested in the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit. And you can't tell us what's going on. You can't say, hey, we know you made a mistake. That's obvious. You gave us 2 notices and didn't fulfill either of the notice. Back in August of last year, you said, we're going to show you the timeline for the Creative Summit in December. Number 1. The very last day of December, you didn't do that. You did not show us the new timeline for the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit. You didn't do it. That's number 1 failure. Number 2 failure, On December the 31st, you said, hey, while we're finishing making our plans for 2026, we got something else to show you. We're going to be at NAB and show you some stuff there at some sessions. Well, you still haven't told us about the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit, and there's no reason not to. There's no reason not to. All you have to say is, we made a mistake, we misjudged, and here's what's happening with it. It's going to be in November of 2026 now. More details to follow. Well, no matter what you say, we don't necessarily have to believe you because you've told us twice, and haven't followed up. You didn't follow up on either one of those 2 times. You completely dropped the ball, and you don't tell us anything. Not telling us anything is the most aggravating part. And once again, I'm not talking to FMC because they are ready to go at any time as soon as Apple tells them. It's 100% on Apple. I guess it's artistic, but yeah, they're trying to make tech not to be so techy, I guess. Well, we want tech to be techy. You know, plants don't belong in a keynote. Did you ever see Steve Jobs on stage with ferns? Did he ever come out on stage with ferns? When he sat down, there's ferns in the background? No. Professionals don't do that. I don't know what that is, but it was they're in the grass, they're doing this. And I'm like, why are they doing that for the background of the keynote? I don't like that. Go give me some structure, give me some offices, give me some buildings. Outside of the beautiful, beautiful spaceship campus is fantastic. There's plenty of places to be there. You could be inside in the cafeteria, getting coffee, walking through the halls in the Steve Jobs Theater, tons of places. But this one was definitely a WWDC, definitely a developers conference. That's absolutely what it was, what it's supposed to be. We like it when there's more. We like it when there's hardware announcement. We like it when Final Cut Pro's up on the screen. That's what we like. There's the environmental goals to reference. Really? They didn't mention anything about environmental stuff. Not for the grass. Hey, look at these weeds back here. These weeds help Final Cut Pro. These weeds behind us, tall grasses, they help Mac OS. These weeds are helping us get a new M5 Mac Studio coming out. They don't do that. Richard hates plants. No, I love plants. I love plants. My girlfriend, I do a gardening show for her. You can find it on Facebook, Jane's World. We just filmed some stuff this morning. I love plants. I absolutely love plants, but not in a tech keynote. They just don't work together. Can you imagine if I did my background with tall grass? Tall grasses and it looks overgrown. It looks like they haven't been out there to weed it, or I haven't been out there to cut it or mow it. It looks all overgrown and just sloppy. I just didn't like that aspect. You want me to come on here with some tall grass next week? I'll pull a green screen down and do tall grass for you. Overgrown. It's not even attractive. No, I love nature. I live on a property, an acre and a half. I got 25 100-foot, 100-year-old oak trees. I have, take care of all this. I'm, splitting wood. My girlfriend's got 2 or 3 separate garden areas that she does. We love that. Speaking of that, let's see. Oh, there's Lucy. Miss Lucy's taking a sun nap. Now, we have a lot of gardening around. A lot on this property, as you can imagine. Today, we're going to show you how macOS 27 takes root just like this milkweed. Absolutely. Even if Robert Plant presented the keynote from Apple Campus. Yeah, well, Robert Plant, I don't think that Robert Plant had any grass when he performed with Led Zeppelin. I know he didn't. I saw the original Zeppelin with all the original members probably six times. The first time was, I was just a kid. The first time was at Merriweather Post Pavilion when the brand new Led Zeppelin, when their first album just came out and they weren't well known, opened up for The Who. Now, The Who did songs from Tommy, and both bands were phenomenal. But I've seen Zeppelin 5 or 6 times when the original Zeppelin with all the members were there. They never had any plants on stage. They never had any ferns or tall grass. It just doesn't work with some stuff. I love much more your phone in the background. Forget the grass. Exactly. Robert is a plant, literally. Yes, he is a plant. You're absolutely correct. That's his name. And look, I like Tim Cook a lot. I think he's done a phenomenal job for the company itself, Apple. But they always had a plant on stage, yes, singing. I understand it, but not grasses, and it just looked overgrown. Didn't anybody else find that? Yes, Tim Cook. I like Tim Cook. I think he's done a great job taking care of Apple after Steve Jobs. I mean, imagine trying to fill Steve Jobs' shoes as CEO. I bet you kept you awake a little bit, a couple of nights. But anyway, there wasn't anything about Final Cut Pro in the keynote. I don't know if the subsequent developers conferences and stuff that happened during the week had anything about Final Cut Pro, but listen, let me tell you a little secret. When there's no Final Cut Pro news like this, what happens is it's going to be in a big announcement somewhere coming up. They create this radio vacuum, and then all of a sudden it explodes, and there's a big update to Final Cut Pro. That's what I think's happening. I think that this, and I keep saying this, Final Cut Pro 13 at the next Final Cut Pro Creative Summit. Don't call it the Apple Creator Studio Creator Summit. Nobody's interested in that. If you had the Motion Creative Summit, nobody would go. If you had the Compressor Creative Summit, nobody would go. If you had the Notes Creative Summit, Keynote Creative Summit, nobody would go to those. They'd be completely empty. Even Logic Pro. Logic is a great app, but the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit, it's what draws people. That makes it special. Now, you can show, and they always did, they always had motion sessions at the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit. They always had motion sessions. Okay? Sometimes they talked about Logic in 2024. They had like a 20-minute presentation about Logic Pro. But if you notice, the only two apps, three of the apps have Pro in their name. Final Cut Pro, Logic Pro, Pixelmator Pro. It's not called Motion Pro. It's not called Compressor Pro. It's certainly not called Pages Pro. It's not called Keynote Pro. Those aren't Pro apps. Come on. The Pro apps, there's 4 Pro apps. Final Cut Pro, Logic Pro, Motion, Compressor, and Live Stage is borderline because not many people use that. So, good morning from sunny Montreal. Very, very cool. WWDC was all about AI presentation and avoiding the 2024 errors. Who's still hunting them? So, yeah, it was a lot about the AI. And the Apple in general needs to get that back on track. Okay, Apple in general needs to get that back on track. But as far as Final Cut Pro goes. So it's going to be a long, hot, and boring Final Cut Pro summer, probably the same as every summer. I don't expect, look, they could surprise us at any time with the motion VFX integration. Absolutely, they could just say, hey, Final Cut Pro 12.5. We've integrated some of the motion VFX stuff. They could do that anytime. I think they're waiting for a date for the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit if there is going to be another Final Cut Pro Creative Summit, if they didn't cancel it. Because we don't know anything. They're keeping us. This is what they're doing. Final Cut Pro users, this is what they're doing to us. There's no reason for that. No excuse, no reason. Just tell us what's going on. There's no reason you shouldn't. Okay, even in the WWDC program, there's nothing related to Final Cut. It's all about immersive video. Yeah, well, I don't think the immersive video is doing so well. So back to Eric's comment. Eric, by the way, I still have your very kind and generous donation here on YouTube, $49. I'm saving that for the Creative Summit. It's not been spent. You gave it to me when I thought I was going to NAB. Since I didn't go to NAB, I'm going to use it. I'm saving it for, I have yours and Daniel's contributions over there at Buy Me a Coffee, and you did one on YouTube. And I'm saving that for the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit. I haven't forgotten about that. By the way, if was a fifth. So, look, I do this every year. I say, next year, I'm going to go to NAB. Okay? I think I will go to NAB next year because I really missed not being in NAB this year. Especially, I go there and I live stream. And I interview people. And I do all this stuff. But next year, I want to go to NAB because of what's in my pocket. One of the reasons that I want to go to NAB, at this point, I want to go to NAB next year in Las Vegas. I missed it for 2 years, but I'll probably go next year, especially if there's no activity on the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit front, or if they water that down into some generic, oh, we got 9 apps. We got 9 app Creative Summit. No, Final Cut Pro Creative Summit, not 9 apps at a Creative Summit. But I especially want to go to NAB, walk through the halls the first day and just stream live, film and stream live because of what I got in my pocket. This is one of the things, one of the reasons that I got this. Now, what the heck is this? Oh, there we go. This is the brand new 8K Insta360 Luna Ultra. This thing is absolutely incredible. I've been recording it. I've been spoiled now. I've been recording in 8K since I got it. I only got it a few days ago. It is phenomenal. It's got a gimbal, 3-axis gimbal. That's programmable. But it shoots in 8K, 10-bit iLog. It shoots log, 10-bit, up to 8K. 8K. The phones only do 4K. This is double what the phones can do. It also has a 1-inch sensor, which the iPhones don't have. They don't have a 1-inch sensor. It has, from what I understand, it has 3 dedicated AI chips to help with low light. Now, the 1-inch sensor, I think, is f1.8, and the other sensor is not quite 1 inch, and I think that's f.2 or 2.2. So both of them are good in low light. This thing is absolutely incredible. It has some built-in storage, only 47 gigabytes, so not that much. It's got an SD card slot, the mini card slot. The biggest drawback is this tiny little screen. Now, I'm used to the gigantic iPhone screen, but this screen is detachable. This screen, look at it glowing in the dark. This screen is detachable from the phone, from the camera and the gimbal. I can remotely control this camera with this detachable control panel and screen. It's incredible. And it has a microphone right there. A wireless microphone. So if I'm 5 feet away, 10 feet away from the gimbal, it's getting my audio as well. This is stunningly brilliant that nobody saw coming. Nobody saw this coming. So, for example, I can control this gimbal with the remote control. It's absolutely a brilliant, brilliant design. I've only had it for 48 hours, so it has deep tracking, all kinds of stuff. But look at this. It's a little remote control. All the controls are still connected to this camera. This is stunning. Anyway, the reason I mention this, because this is what I'd be walking through the halls at NAB with, just walking, light, doing interviews. Just the first day, I just go walking everywhere with this and film, interview some people. The microphones on this are really, really good for me, for example. If I'm behind the camera or I have the remote control in my hand, 18 inches or so, this audio is fantastic. Just like having a lapel on. Even the front one's here, captures the people in front if they're like with maybe 3 or 4 feet away. Very, very clearly. So they've done a great, great job with that. You can also hook up one of these, the Insta360 Mic Pro transmitter, and it wirely will connect to this. I haven't hooked this one up yet because I haven't something else that I use. But I use this handheld microphone. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. Not cheap. This is $769, this package. It's got a lot of things going for it, but it's phenomenal. But anyway, I'm going to go to NAB and just walk around the halls when I first get there, let you see everything. This is what I'll be using. And I'll probably be shooting in 8K, maybe 4K. It has 2 lenses on it. One is 1 times and one is 3 times optical zoom. So it can switch between the 2 lenses. It's just a phenomenal little device. Now I got it in this, and it's not uncomplicated. Okay. It's a very complicated little device. That's all I got to say. It's got this nice little case. Completely protects the head. So when you carry in your pocket, like I'm doing, ready to pull out. Phenomenal. Good deal. Final Cut Pro is feeling more and more like a stripped-down base model of a Chevy or Ford. I won't disagree with that. If they don't hold a summit this year, it's probably ELD. No worry, end of life. No worries, Richard. You have more than earned it. Thank you very much. But I'm still holding out hope we are going to have a Creative Summit. I'm tempted to check out the Insta-Luna camera. Get the Luna Ultra. It's got the 2 lenses. Yes, this is the Luna Ultra, the one with 2 lenses. They have a base model, which is a single lens, but I want that zoom as well. Absolutely. Are you afraid they may go for what would be called the Creator Studio Summit by Apple? I'm not afraid of that. I think that's a big misstep. That's a big misstep. Like I said, when any of you go to a Motion Creator Summit, come from around the world to go to a Motion Creator Summit, when any of you go to a Pages Creative Summit, when any of you go to a Compressor Creative Summit, would you go to a Keynote Creative Summit? A Pixelmator Pro Creative Summit? No. No. You can do all that stuff online on YouTube videos and stuff. The Final Cut Pro Creative Summit is a special, biggest Final Cut Pro event of the year held at Cupertino. Don't dilute that into the Apple Creator Studio Creative Summit. That's just hogwash. Okay? You're just diluting the importance of the main star of that bundle, which is Final Cut Pro. Keep it the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit. You can have some sessions because you always did on other apps. The sessions are not 100% on Final Cut Pro. There's a few on Motion. There always have been. I don't know if there ever was on Compressor. Compressor has been used. There might have even been 1 or 2 on Keynote, but it was called the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit. Final Cut Pro is the king of the Apple Creator Studio bundle. Way far at the top. Everything else is below. Logic Pro would be second, and then Motion, I would say. Don't dilute the importance of Final Cut Pro by just sticking it in with 9 other apps and say, look at this mishmash we have. Look at this amalgam of apps we have. Hogwash. Keep it the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit. You can have other sessions in there. You always did. You always did, but I'm not going to fly to Cupertino to see a keynote presentation. Okay, I'm not going to fly to Cupertino to see even a Motion presentation. No, I want 2 days, 2 tracks a day, mostly of Final Cut Pro. It is the runaway app of that bundle. Don't treat it like it's an equal to everybody else in the bundle, because it's not. It's the king of the Pro apps. Thank goodness we have Ian Anderson, Chris Hawking, and other developers to bring Final Cut Pro to life. But don't forget that they bought Motion VFX. They bought Motion VFX for a reason. Okay? Motion VFX is not a low-tier player. It's a very high-quality plugin maker. So I think there's a couple of things that are going to happen with Motion VFX. Obviously, they're going to have some of these great titles, transitions from Motion VFX, templates in the Final Cut Pro Creator Summit subscription. Some of those are going to be subscriptions. Some of those might become features in Final Cut Pro from Motion VFX. If they're features, they're going to be in both versions of Final Cut Pro. Apple is not going to let the standalone version of Final Cut Pro be in the past. They're going to keep updating it with the same features that the subscription version of Final Cut Pro has. They have to. They're charging $299 for it right now. They didn't stop. They have an educational bundle for $199 where you can get all 5 Pro apps for $199 standalone. That's a steal. That's for education. Still available if you buy Mac, and I think maybe one or two other ways. If you're at the school, you can buy it that way. It's not available to just the general public. The fact that they're still selling the standalone versions of these apps means they're going to be updating them for a while with features. Okay, I mean with updates for built-in features. The premium content is only going to be available with the Final Cut Pro subscription in the Apple Creator Studio. But features are going to be in both versions of Final Cut Pro. Something's happening because it's too quiet. It's radio silence. Whenever there's radio silence like this, something big is happening. Well, we know the motion VFX integration, absolutely. That's going to be gigantic. There's also the Color I/O. I'm not sure what they're doing with that. I'm not sure I don't know what was so attractive about Color I/O. I don't know. I didn't use it, so I don't know. Is it full 8K? It is. It's full 8K the way that 3840 is full 4K. It's 7,500 and something is what it is. They call that 8K. It actually is. It is. And it's got a 1-inch sensor, which is bigger than the sensor in the iPhone. Now, the iPhone wins hands down with this giant screen. This giant screen we got is fantastic. The Luna has a little teeny screen, but that's because it's a pocket camera. Look, got it in my pocket. Pull it out, ready to go. I don't have to attach. With my phone, I have to get it on a gimbal. I have to balance the gimbal. I got to make sure everything's working there. And it's really good, but sometimes I don't want to. Sometimes I just want to pull out this and I'm on a gimbal already. Yes, it's a tiny. The screen, the tiny screen is the thing I like least about it. But it's a pocket camera. It's a pocket camera. It's not meant to be, and you can monitor this on their app on your iPhone. But this is a pocket. This is a pocket stick camera, so the screen can only be so big. That when you think about that, it doesn't bother me. And like I said, I can hold the screen here and hold the camera here with this one. You can't do that with the DJI. So I can hold the screen really close to my face and I can aim it and do stuff with the actual camera and gimbal. But anyway, I've only had 48 hours. It's fantastic. I really like it. I was waiting for it, but instead of having a gimbal and the iPhone balanced in the gimbal and audio going into the iPhone, it's much bigger setup. This is much more compact. And I can just walk around. The audio is excellent for me, being close to it. And if I get close enough to somebody in front of the camera, the audio also is very, very good. I don't know why, but it is. I can use wireless microphones if I want to. I wonder how it compares to the Osmo Pocket 4, but don't think we can buy it here in the U.S. We cannot. Not only that, but DJI and Insta360 are now embroiled in lawsuits. They're both suing each other over tech that they said that this DJI stole from Insta and Insta stole from DJI. It's better than the DJI because it has the biggest thing. It has a detachable screen with a microphone and remote control. The DJI does not have that. This records 8K. The DJI stops at 6K. This is Leica. They engineered this with Leica, the lenses and the color science with Leica. This has color. If you do one of the modes, it's ACES approved color workflow. This is not a simple camera just for playing around. But of course you can do your vlogs and stuff. Anyway, I got mine. Now, I've been filming with it every day. I'm going to film with it tonight, and I'm going to film with it tomorrow just to get some footage, 8K. Once I start an 8K, okay, I'm interested. So I have a 256 gigabyte micro SD card in here. 256, it records 2 hours, 2.5 hours, I think, of 8K. 24. When I shoot 8K, I shoot 24 frames per second, just to help keep the bit rate down a little bit. So the 256 gigabyte card gives me 2 hours or 4 hours. 2 hours. I forget which it is. It's over 2 hours. It has 47 gigabytes of built-in memory in case you forgot your card. And I think that gives me, yeah, it must be 4 hours. I think the 47 gigabyte gives me almost an hour, 50 some minutes at 8K. And you can always drop it down to 4K and give you twice as much. You say it does 8K. Does it do 4K and HD too? Absolutely. Yes, it does HD. And it does 4K, I think 120 frames per second slow-mo and just HD 240 frames per second slow-mo. If that, I don't think the screen is 8K. It's way too small. That doesn't make any sense. No, the Retina, no, the iPhone, hands down, their screen is by far better. It is humongous. The iPhone 17 Pro, I use it with my Lumix S5 Mark IIX as a viewfinder. I mean, as a display screen. No, it's not. None of the DJI is not waterproof, and this one's not waterproof either. No, absolutely not. Do not use it out in the rain. Absolutely. 8K may be too big of a file. Absolutely. Drop it down to 4K. I looked at the Creator Bundle, which also includes a wireless mic. I think I will wait with the purchase decision until it can be compared with the new 18 Pro or Pro Max as I want 2-camera setup. I'm going to get, most likely I'll be getting the 18 Pro Max. I usually do every year. I get the new one. And listen, I have a drone, 4K drone. I got two 4K iPhones, the 16 Pro Max, 17 Pro Max. I have the Lumix S5 Mark IIX full frame. And now I have a DJI Action 5 camera. And now I have this one. I don't want any more cameras right now. I don't want any more, but I just like this, walking around NAB, filming stuff in 8K. It's got they say a 6 times lossless zoom and up to a 12K zoom, which actually is not bad. That's a crop. That's a digital zoom. Once it goes past 6K, 6 times it goes to a digital or whatever. But up to 6K, they're calling it lossless because it has 3 times optical, and it doubles that 3 times optical by just cropping into the sensor. So it's not giving you bigger pixels. It's just cropping into the sensor. So it says up to 6K optical lossless zoom is what they said. Have you tried your new Insta? With the Insta app on your iPhone? No, I have not. Templates with other camera shot settings, exactly. I have not yet, but I will be doing that, doing some tutorials, as a matter of fact. Have you had occasions where you will be using your iPhone and Insta3 camera at the same time? If so, how will you cut between the cameras without being visible when changing cams? So what I do is I get a project setting that will accommodate both versions. If I'm shooting 4K on the phone, which I always do, and 8K, I'll bring the 8K down to the 4K timeline. So now I can switch between them. And it's really, really not been a problem. The feature is going to be on both is 3D tracking, captions, AI blur, upscaler. This subscription is going to have the titles, which are extremely popular for motion VFX. Absolutely. Is DJI cursed by Insta360? Well, they're suing each other. They're suing each other. So, yeah, and DJI is not even available. You can't get it in the US. So, listen, that and the detachable screen, nobody saw that coming. Remote control detachable screen, good for up to 40 or 50 meters, which is 100 some feet. That's an amazing, nobody saw that coming. So I can hold the little, even though it's a small screen, hold it here and hold the camera out here or set it up on a tripod 10 or 15 feet away and I can control it. Or I can put the camera on the outside of a car and I can control it on the inside of a car. It's got a microphone built in. It's all transmitted wirelessly. It's phenomenal. Nobody saw that coming. Now all you need is 8T SSD, terabyte SSD to back up and then some. No, I just take it, bring it here and back it up on my, pull the SD card out, mini card out and back it up. It doesn't take that long. What is the data rates, and does it use a friendly codec for Final Cut Pro? It's got two data rates, regular and high. I, of course, switched to high. 120, 130 megabytes a second, something like that. It looks really good. It looks really good. Let me go get you a clip. I'll show you. I will show you. Let's see what Lucy's doing while I'm doing this. Lucy is having her little nap. Let me see here. That's this morning. Oh, that's the wrong one. That's why that's there. Hold on a second. You know what? Hold on a second. Let me get your... That's not it. Here we go. Huh. What did I do with that? That's so funny. Well, anyway. That's weird. Oh, I see what I did wrong. Here we go. Well, you know, you're not going to be able to, hold on a second. Let me, so I'm going to do this. Let me do this. This is log that hasn't been corrected yet. So it's kind of hard to tell. we have a carnival in town. But this is 8-bit. I mean, this is 10-bit, 8K.
Are you live?
Yes.
Can I say hi?
Who are you going to say hi to?
Just everyone.
Who?
You're live. Mr. Beast.
Yeah. Hi, Mr. Beast.
Hi.
Mr. Beast.
Who's that?
I need a lot of money.
It's a really famous and rich YouTuber.
Oh, Mr. Beast.
Yeah,
Mr. Honorary.
yeah, I like
Yeah, we low-key need money. We need to open our pool.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Mr. Beast.
Hi, bye, Mr. Beast. Bye, YouTube. Stop. Bye, YouTube. It's kind of good skin.
Now you can't really tell that the shot was the only log clip I had. I shot that last night. I'm going out there again tonight. You try to edit the 360 clip shots, it generates and wraparound with like the InstaFlow Pro, but for video. I've never done any 360s. How do you like the new camera so far? I love the camera. It's absolutely fantastic. It's absolutely, I just love it. I mean, the little screen when you're used to the iPhone is a big downgrade, but it's a pocket camera. It's not supposed to have a big screen, and you can monitor it on the iPhone with the Insta360 app. So, what are you going to do? I went out yesterday. Let me do this. I went out yesterday. Okay, I went out yesterday and I just wanted to put one up. I just got it yesterday morning, and I went out yesterday, just did a quick video shot in 8K around my property, and I put that up on my YouTube channel. Let's go over and see that. WWDC. Are we going to see Final Cut Pro on the video that Apple plays? Now, before you say anything, I'm talking about just being on screen. There was no Final Cut Pro last year in 2025 at WWDC that I can see, but there was in 2024 and about 4 or 5 other WWDCs. Final Cut Pro, I think this is it. Here I am shooting 8K iLog with my Insta360 Luna Ultra. I just got it this morning. I figured I'd come out here and do a few test shots, 8K, 30 frames per second. If I continuously shoot in 8K, I think I'm going to shoot 24 frames per second rather than 30, just to save a little bit of the enormous disk space. So far, I'm really liking the Insta360 Luna Ultra. The screen is tiny, though, compared to my huge iPhone 17 Pro Max screen, but seems to work well. Also, the microphone. I'm using the built-in camera microphone, and it sounds really good. About 18 inches away from it. (10-bit) iLog. I downloaded the Insta360 Luna Ultra LUT package and opened that up in my NLE, which is Final Cut Pro. We're just going to shoot some more. Here, I'm going to be in the sunlight here in a minute. There we go. Sunlight. I can't even see the screen anymore. These are the two trees in our backyard of note. On the right is the red maple, and on the left is a dogwood tree. Let's go inside here and see what's going on. This is my driveway, by the way. Yeah, I just wanted to get one video out yesterday, so I went out and shot some stuff around the property. But now I'm going to the carnival again tonight. I'm going to do some more footage. I'm going to the farmer's market tomorrow. I'm going to do some more footage. So I'm going to get a lot of clips. And there are tons of videos out on YouTube showing you how to use it. It's not a simple camera. There's lots of different settings. Some people have a cool rig with Osmo Pocket with HDMI linked to their phones and use the phone as a preview monitor. Seems to be an option, but will make heavier. Well, if you're going to take your phone, you might as well shoot with your phone, right? If you're going to take the phone, you might as well just shoot with the phone. This shoots 4K. I have 3 lenses. It doesn't shoot 8K, but it shoots ProRes log with an external SSD. So if I'm going to take this, I might as well just shoot with this. If I want to shoot with the Pocket, it's different. I have, like I said, I have 5 cameras. I have iPhone 17 Pro Max, iPhone 16 Pro Max, both 1 terabyte. I have a DJI Action 5 that I absolutely love. I have a DJI 4K mini drone that shoots in 4K. It's a drone. And now I have the the Insta360 Luna Ultra. So those are my 5 cameras. Oh, and I have the Lumix S5 Mark II X. Full frame, which is fantastic in low light. So I have all those cameras. I don't want any more cameras. I'm all the options. This is just fun to use. It's a stick. It's not meant to have a big screen. Now, like I said, I can, if I wanted to use this, like for example, I can put this if I'm in a crowd and there's people in front of me, and there's a band up on stage or something else happening up on stage and I can't film with my iPhone, I can put this 8 feet in the air on a monopod or a tall or a big giant selfie stick, hold it up 8 feet in the air and control it down here with my remote control. So I can get over top everybody's head and I can angle the gimbal down and shoot the stage way above everybody's head. And it's not in anybody's way because it's just a single monopod or selfie stick. That's just one example. So, yeah, I'm doing some videos now. There's one trick that nobody else has done yet with this that I'm going to be posting in the next day or two. But what sold... Well, there's 3 reasons I got this over the... There's 4 reasons why I got this over the DJI. I have DJI cameras. I have the DJI Mini 4K drone. I have the DJI Action 5. I have both of those, and I like them both. But this has, number one, is you can buy it in the United States. You can't get the DJI in the United States. Number 2, it has a detachable remote control, monitor, wireless microphone. DJI doesn't have that. It shoots 8K, DJI is limited to 6K. So other than that, they're probably comparable. Plus, this is Leica lenses and Leica color sciences. This has ACES workflow for color management. One of the things is ACES workflow for those of you that are colorists. those things sold me on this model, and I grabbed it as soon as it came out. They have some fantastic sticks and accessories for their cameras. Brilliant stuff, absolutely. So I got this, the Insta360 Mic Pro Advanced Wireless Microphone. I haven't opened it yet, so I might go back. I don't think I'm going to need this. I don't think I'm going to need this, but I got it. It's $99. Amazon Prime Day is coming up. If they drop this to $79, I'll return this one and buy the $79 one, and then I'll keep it. For $99 is a little expensive just for the transmitter, but everybody likes it. I hate the round button shape of it. I don't like that. This does take a lapel mic. The DJI Mic 3 does not. So this does take a lapel mic, so I can put this in my pocket and just run a lapel up on my shirt. But I haven't opened it yet. I can return it from Amazon. It's pretty easy to return things like that. I understand having too many cameras at one point, you have to make a stop, like with plugins, since they are not limit yourself. I have not stopped buying plugins. I have thousands of plugins. But as far as cameras go, in September, I'll be trading in my iPhone 16 Pro Max for the iPhone 18 Pro Max. So I'll get a new camera, but I'll still have the same amount. I don't need any more cameras. I don't need any more cameras. Absolutely not. I've been looking at this. I've seen people with these stick cameras for years. As a matter of fact, at the Creator Summit, they had one on the bus. And I've been looking for years at these. And I say, well, that's too small for me. This thing has a little heft to it, and it does 8K. And the audio is really good. Wireless remote control with the screen. The tiny screen you have to get used to. But I can hold it up here, and I can do the camera out here. Or I can have the camera set up somewhere else, and I can have the remote with the tiny screen right here. But yeah, you have to get used to it. Plus, if I wanted to, I can monitor with the Insta360 app on my phone. And when recording in 8K on a 4K timeline, you should be able to zoom in and out in part of the scene, and you want to focus on without losing resolution in 4K. Absolutely. Absolutely. 8K is 4 4K frames, the equivalent of 4 4K frames. Just like 4K is equivalent of 4 HD frames. You absolutely can. So you put the 8K on the 4K timeline, plenty, and you choose, in Final Cut, you choose, you don't choose fit, you choose none. Choose none, and it'll be the full size, and you can shrink it down 50% or whatever you want to. Yeah, it's a great way to go. But I mean, when I first got this, I'm thinking, 8K, I'm not going to use 8K. Then I started shooting 8K, and then I said, well, these files aren't that bad. Let me see what I got in here. Let me start this up. So the other thing is, all you do is flip the screen, and it turns it on. And the gimbal's ready to go. Let me see yeah. So I'm in 8K, and I dropped it to 24. If I shoot a lot with this with 8K, I'm going to shoot all my stuff in 24, so at least the frame rate matches. Yeah, so I have a 256 gigabyte micro SD card in here. Okay, a 256 micro SD card in here. And that gives me 4 hours and 20 minutes of 8K, 10-bit iLog footage. 256 gigabyte micro SD card gives me 4 hours and 20 minutes of 8K, 10-bit iLog footage. So if you had a 512, you'd have 8 hours. 8 hours. So once I saw that, I said, well, that's, and it records fine to the micro SD card, and Final Cut handles it fine. No issues. They have their own built-in LUT. They have their own built-in LUT. So let me nice little case, completely protects the gimbal. Stick it in your pocket, whatever you want to do. Let me do this while I got you here. Let's do this real quick. Just to show you, well, I'm sold on 8K with this Insta360. I'm also sold on 6K with my Lumix S5 Mark IIX. Carnival 8K. I'm just pulling up. I'm pulling this up. Pulling this up. One second. Okay, let's look at this. Let's look at this. Videos. Is that what I want? Copy of screen. That's not going to work.
Final Cut Pro.
Let me do this. Current application. Huh. Why isn't that showing up? Well, let me do this then. Hold on a second. I'll do it this way. 1 second. We will do it another way. There we go. So this is some footage that I shot last night. This is just a carnival. This is 8K iLog. Now, let me do this. I'm going to turn on the camera LUT. There's the camera LUT. You can also apply it in the browser, but I also did it this way.
Yes. Who are you going to say hi to? That's everyone. Who? Mr. Beast. Yeah. Hi.
Mr. Beast. So this is the camera LUT off. That's the log. And this is the camera LUT on, without doing any other color correction. It's pretty cool. Pretty darn cool. So let me answer some of these questions. Do you know if the tracking works at the full zoom? Well, you don't mean the 12 zoom. I don't know if it works as a 12 zoom. The 12 zoom is, I'd use that in extreme cases, but up to 6 times, 3 times optical, and then a crop in on the sensor gives you a 6 times zoom. They call it lossless. I think it works. Yes, I think it works up to the 6 times zoom. I think so. Richard, how often will you be in situations in the future where you would need your Lumix S5X now that you have purchased the Insta with its bigger than the iPhone sensor, and not only bigger than it has a 1-inch sensor, it's f1.8 on the 1-inch, and it's f2 or 2.2 on the slightly smaller sensor. So both of those are very good for low light. But from what I understand, it has 3 dedicated AI chips for low light. Besides the optical, it has 3 dedicated AI chips to help with low light. So they have a special mode, low light mode. So that's another thing. Good question. With this, if this proves to be as good as I think it's going to be in low light, I wouldn't bring my S5 Mark IIX to the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit as I've done in the past, because sometimes the presentations are a little dark and grainy when you shoot them. And I shoot from the back of the room. So I would probably just take this and not take the S5 Mark IIX. To get that many hours of recording, it must be a very efficient HEVC codec. It's H.265, and I think it's 120 or 130 megabits per second at the high high data rate. I got it at the high data rate, so that's what I shoot. Yeah, so for 256 gigabytes of the micro SD card, 4 hours and 20 minutes of 8K 10-bit log. I think all the shooting in this Insta is 10-bit. All the different modes. There's a ton of different ways you can shoot. You can shoot with 10-bit iLog, and they give you the LUT for Final Cut Pro. Flawless, plays back completely fine, no problem whatsoever so far. Now, if you do a multicam 8K clip, that could be a different story, but I'm only doing single lines. It's good. The quality is just stunningly good. The lenses are Leica lenses, both lenses, and it's a Leica color workflow. It's not just the lenses. They worked with getting the whole workflow going. So there's all kinds of things going on there. All kinds of things. So dog days of summer. I would be pleasantly surprised if the Final Cut Pro team came out with a feature update to Final Cut Pro, whether it is the motion VFX integration or whatever, or partial. They might put out some of the plugins available in the subscription to Final Cut Pro, the Apple Creator Studio, as premium content. I understand that. That's what they do. They've already said everything is available in both versions except for premium content. So that's fine. I know that going in. It's not going to be a surprise. Could that come out over the summertime? Absolutely. Do I think it's going to come over the summertime? No. I think they're going to do it. They're going to wait for Final Cut Pro 13, and I think that's going to be at the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit if they don't cancel it. Don't tell me we're going to have it in spring 2027. That's just complete malarkey and baloney, and I don't believe you. If you tell me it's going to be, you made a mistake, they've miscalculated, it's going to be in November, they're playing on November, a date will be determined later in the summer like it usually is. I give that a 50-50 chance. But don't cancel it. As good as 2024 was, don't cancel it. And don't tell me it's going to be 2027. That's utter nonsense. So, that's to all you. Come around here on Saturdays. Absolutely love it. And let's do one for the Final Cut Pro Apps team. They all do a great job. And let's do one more for Tim Cook. Tim Cook. Wait, that didn't work. For Tim Cook. He's done a great job leading Apple all these years. So, what else is going on? So, September, new iPhone, whatever that's going to be. If they improve the video, I'll get one. If they improve the video, I'll get one. Yeah, by the way, Matthew asked about the tracking. The other thing about the Insta360 Lunar Ultra, the tracking is superb. The tracking is absolutely superb. So, AI tracking, whatever you want to call it. Got a lot of people watching. We've got a lot of thumbs up today, which we always appreciate. I got this little, Sebastian suggested I get this little scroll wheel, USB scroll wheel, Ulanzi. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 buttons. It's got a little scroll wheel. And the scroll wheel is also a button. And the Ulanzi, it's got some weight to it. It's got little rubber feet, so you put it down, it doesn't slide around. I like this jog shuttle wheel. It's weighted. I like it. You can also do this. So I have it set up with Final Cut Pro, keep it on my left hand for scrolling one frame at a time. Now, I got it, he said it's $50 in Europe. I got it for $35, $36 on Amazon. It was on sale. So I have this in as well as my Stream Deck Pro, which I love. And that's plenty. This is my left hand. I keep it on my left hand, and my Stream Deck Pro is on my right hand. Once I get my desk cleaned up a little bit, I'll do a little tour for you and show you where I have everything. But so the other thing that we're wondering about, when are we going to see an M5 Mac Studio? 5 Mac Studio? If we don't see it before, because they could just release it with a press release. I mean, they already have the M5 MacBook Pro. They already have that. So they could do the M5 Mac Studio, M5 Mac Mini Pro at any time just with the press release, or they could wait for the Apple Mac event in October. So the iPhone in September, the iPhone 18 Pro Max, and then if we don't see it before that, we could see the Mac Studio, the M5 Mac Studio, the M5 Mac Mini in October at an Apple Mac event. They will have an Apple Mac event. They usually do every year, right before Christmas. Right before Christmas. So that's Apple gets my money one way or the other. And then I'm waiting for the M5 Mac Studio. I'm going to keep my M4 Mac Mini. I'm going to keep my 2021 MacBook Pro, keeping both of those. But I'll get an M5 Mac Studio when that comes out. And that'll be a step up from where I am now, especially I'm shooting 8K now. I shoot all my phones 4K, except when my iPhone 17 Pro Max, I have a Beast Grip Pro cage system that takes anamorphic lens, ND filter, and I can hook up the 2 terabyte SSD that I have, little mini one, and Pro Audio. That shoots 6K. ProRes RAW, it works out to be 6K. Anamorphically, it's 4K, but when you stretch it back out, it's actually 6K. So my Lumix S5 Mark IIX shoots 6K internally. My iPhone, if I want to shoot ProRes RAW and take the bigger Beast Grip cage system with the anamorphic lens, I can get 6K on my phone. And now with this pocket thing, I can get 8K. I can get 8K. This is not cheap, and this thing weighs something. This is not a lightweight like the original ones were. This got some heft to it. You can get a battery pack for here. The battery, they say 4 hours. It goes between 2 and 3 hours, in my experience. So I can shoot 2 or 3 hours. But here's the thing. I can shoot for 45 minutes. And then put a charger. Put it in my backpack or my pocket and put a battery charger on it. Stick it in. Charges back up. I might get the battery pack at some point, but I don't anticipate shooting that long for a long period of time. I might shoot an hour max. Most of the stuff I shoot's 10 or 15 minutes, sometimes 5 minutes. So battery pack's not that important. I am going to get, there's 2 different companies that are making ND filters. They're magnetic. You just put them on both lenses. I don't know if Ulanzi is one of the companies. Of course, Insta has theirs. Theirs are the most expensive. But I think Ulanzi has those. I haven't seen them on Amazon yet, but you just snap them on, take them off, snap them on. So I will get the ND filters for this. And I'm not sure about the microphone, and you'll find out why this week. This has not been opened. I might send this back, and you'll find out why this week. First off, the native microphone is fantastic. I thought it really was good. I thought it really was good. So these are the dog days of summer, unless we get a surprise. Unless we get a surprise. There are going to be some surprises on Final Cut TV over the next 2 weeks. There are going to be some surprises on Final Cut TV over the next 2 weeks. I don't want to say anything in advance, but you'll find out soon enough. Everybody who's subscribed, I've got to put my logo up. Everybody who's subscribed, thumbs up, subscribe over there to my YouTube channel. You can also, as some folks have done, buy me a coffee. .com/Richard Taylor if you want to support the channel. If you want to dedicate it to the Final Cut Pro Creator Summit, which is the next big event I anticipate coming up. And at this point, this is June 2026. I'm going to go to NAB next year. I've missed it for 2 years, and I did miss it. I did miss it. So I'm planning on going next year. I will get a reservation come December for airfare and for a hotel room, because I am planning on going to NAB next year. I don't care about the Final Cut Pro stuff. I missed it too much, and especially with my Insta360 Luna Ultra. This is just, my first day is this. I'm going to take stuff to the hotel, drop it off, go to the convention center, just walk the show floor. Nothing specifically, and I'll do a lot of it live, and I'll film it. If I'm not doing it live, I'll film it and play it later. Just walk the show floor, stop and interview somebody who's something has caught my interest, whatever the heck they're going to have then. And this does a pretty good job with audio. It does a great job with audio with me because it's close to me. It does a really good job. And the person in front, it does a really nice, pretty good job with that as well. If I can get close enough, say 4 feet, between 4 and 6 feet, it's pretty good. And if I do just a filming, I'll clean it up in Final Cut Pro. So at this point, I'm planning on going to NAB next year. And hopefully there's going to be a Final Cut Pro Creative Summit in 2026. Don't tell us there's going to be one in 2027 because we don't believe you. If you're not going to have it in 2026, you might as well just cancel the damn thing. Not using it right now, but I have installed DaVinci Resolve Studio 21 update with their photo app integration. I have that as well. Good morning, Richard. NAB was really good this year. Definitely worth going back. I was disappointed that I decided not to go this year. I had a hotel. I had my flight. And I said, there's just not, and I said, look, at this point, I don't care about the Final Cut Pro stuff. I'm going regardless of whether there's any Final Cut Pro stuff or not. At this point, I'm planning on going next April. So. Won't you use your iPhone 18 next year at NAB? Absolutely. Absolutely. And my DJI Action 5. And this one. But when I'm just doing a walkthrough, a quick walkthrough, I want to be mobile. I don't want to be bogged down with monopods and this and audio. This is going to be my go-to, just walking through. And quickly, well, you say quickly, it takes forever. Walking through the halls, just give a kind of an overview, and then I'll do more specific. So I get there on Sunday, do the quick walkthrough on Sunday, and then Monday get more specific. Go to the Insta360 booth. Go to the DJI booth. Absolutely go to the Blackmagic place. That's the best. That's the best. Fantastic. Biggest booth at NAB. And whatever else I want to, some new microphone or something, I'll check that out and see what's going on. But I did miss it. You're absolutely correct, Jeff. I should have gone. Well, here's the thing. The money that I was going to spend on NAB bought me this camera. So that's the other thing. But that's the other thing is that the money that I saved by not going to NAB went right into this camera. Now that I'm ready, I'm set. I will have the iPhone 18 Pro Max as long as they increase the video capabilities of it. Absolutely. For NAB, and I'll take my MacBook Pro and I'll broadcast live every night, and I'll do live streaming from the show floor, and I'll interview people. Not that many, but maybe half a dozen to a dozen. When do you think Final Cut Pro will have Motion VFX built in? I think it'll have it built in 2026. I think we'll see it before the end of the year, and hopefully we have the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit. And if they announce, here's what I think can happen. The Final Cut Pro team, whether it's through FMC or independently, they come out and they say, "Hey, look, we miscalculated the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit for 2025." And we miscalculated the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit. No, we canceled the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit for 2025. Hands down, it was canceled. The Final Cut Pro Creative Summit for 2026, we miscalculated. We thought it was going to be in the spring. That didn't happen. So now we're saying it's going to be in the fall, November. We'll give you a date later this summer for the fall, but we're confident we can do one for the fall. Once they announce that, That's going to be Final Cut Pro 13. That's going to be the motion VFX integration, at least some of it. And whatever this, look, the next update to Final Cut Pro is not going to only be motion VFX integration. They better have been working on some other things too, like text-based editing, a roles-based audio mixer. Imagine how big Final Cut Pro 13 would be. Motion VFX integration, a roles-based mixer, text-based editing, and whatever the heck they're doing with Color IO. That would be a big Final Cut Pro feature update that's worth celebrating, like we haven't seen for years. If they announce the Final Cut Pro Creator Summit for November, that's what's going to happen. We're going to see Final Cut Pro 13 with with all these great updates. That's a possibility. So I think we're going to see the motion to VFX integration, at least some of it, in 2026. They can't wait for a year. Get some of it out there. Don't you miss the bagels of the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit? I miss everything about the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit. I miss reporting to all you, live streaming for everybody to see. I miss all my friends, my Final Cut Pro friends that I've made friends since 2016, live and in person. I miss the staff and the people at FMC. I miss the Final Cut Pro Apps team. It's a phenomenal, as Philip Hodges says, annual family Final Cut Pro family get-together. It's a phenomenal event, especially when it's at a Juniper Hotel. Especially when it's at the Juniper Hotel. It's just, I'm ecstatic. That's my favorite event of the year. It's absolutely ecstatic. And I'll be reporting for everybody, as I always do. I'll start reporting from the airport. I'll do as many live streams as I can, and just like I always do. And I do miss the bagels. There's our friend Simon from Italy. At the moment, we don't have any news about the summit. Nope, nothing official. Nope. On June, we still don't have any kind of event news. Incredible. I mean, it's global events. People must plan flights, houses, stuff like that. Absolutely. Preferably, they give us 90 days advance notice to make preparations and stuff. Employers, families, take care of the dog, water the garden, flights, hotels. If you're not going to get this hotel that comes with the Creative Summit package, usually they do that. There's our little Miss Lucy sleeping on her futon. That's the cat's futon in there, where they got 2 cat beds, 2 pillows, 3 pillows. That's their futon in the front window where the sun comes in the morning. Final Cut Pro anniversary coming soon on the 21st. Absolutely it is. It absolutely is. I mean, could they come out with a update to Final Cut Pro between now? And look, if they're going to cancel the Creative Summit, let us know. If you're going to cancel it for a second year in a row, let us know. Why wouldn't you let us know that you canceled it? If you're not canceling it, why wouldn't you let us know, okay, we missed our estimate for the spring. Now we're planning on November. Don't just say the fall, okay? You know what month it's going to be. It's been in October, November. It's not going to be around Christmas time. It's not going to be September. And probably not October, because the Apple Mac event's in October. So you're busy with that. Just tell us, we're planning on having one in November. We'll give you the exact date at the end of summer, like we always do. That gives us 60 plus days to make preparations. That's what you should do. Look, you should hire me to help you with this because you're just not doing a very good job on your own. Yep, let us know it. I met Simon last year. He was in 2024. He's at the Creative Summit. The best Creative Summit ever. That's part of the problem. They have to live up to the 2024 Creative Summit. It was the best one ever for a lot of reasons. For the attendees, they're the best group of attendees ever. The presenters, of course, are always top-notch. They had a brand new version of Final Cut Pro 11 to talk about. They did a great presentation in a theater rather than just an office, room like they did in 2023, which was fine. It was back at the Juniper Hotel, which is the perfect spot for the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit. And like I said, all this is on Apple. This has nothing to do with FMC. FMC is accommodating whenever Apple gives them the date or the dates. FMC will jump into action, but they can't jump into action if the Final Cut Pro team, Pro Apps team, don't give them specifics about the date. Because we also got to go to the Apple Spaceship Campus, right? We also got to do that. Never been to one. I didn't even know that was a thing until I started following you and listening to the live stream. I would love to go to one, absolutely. It's a premium event, okay? It's a premium event. We get to go to the Spaceship Campus. We get a presentation from the Final Cut Pro team. 2 events with the Final Cut Pro team. One is we go to the Spaceship Campus the first day, usually in the afternoon. They release a new version of Final Cut Pro to us, and we can release it to the world 2 o'clock, something like that day. Then we have the sessions. You have all the people teaching things. And then on the last day, we have a Q&A with the Final Cut Pro team where we can ask questions. So usually it's 3 days, and the 3-day has 2 tracks of sessions. You can't go to both. You can go one or the other, or go to half one and half the other, and they're all day on Tuesday. Let's just say it starts on Monday. Monday morning is getting in, signing in, meeting everybody, having introductory sessions. We have lunch, which FMC pays for, Apple pays for, whoever. Then we go to the Apple Spaceship Campus and see a presentation from the Final Cut Pro team. They introduce the new version of Final Cut Pro. We come back. Look, I can't stream from the Apple event, but I can stream after the Apple event and other things. I have 20 to 30 hours of raw footage from Final Cut Pro Creative Summits since 2016 that you haven't seen. I have a lot of footage from 2024. And as they announce one and we approach that date, I'll start playing back some of that footage. On my YouTube channel, I have a 45-minute documentary on the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit prior to 2023. Everything prior to 2023. So up to 2019, because 2019, because 2020 was the pandemic, so they didn't have one 20 and 2021. They have one online in 2022. It wasn't that much. The in-person one is the big one. I have many, many hours of footage, raw footage, that I've never shown, that I will start putting together stuff once they announce the 2026 Creative Summit and we start approaching that date. Do you think we will have Final Cut Pro 13 this year? Yes, because look, Final Cut Pro 12 came out on January the 28th. In April, they jumped to Final Cut Pro 12.2. No 12.1, no bug fix. They jumped from 12 to 12.2. It was a tiny little bug fix in April. Okay? So they don't care. The numbers don't mean anything anymore. The whole numbers, the point numbers. This is what the numbers mean. That's what the numbers mean now. So, yes, we can have 13 this year. Yes, Apple hire Richard Taylor. You need serious help for the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit planning. Yeah, you do. Hire me. Your phone will ring. Apple will need you. Dead silence. The dog days of summer are here. The dog days of summer are here. Here's our little girl, Lucy, taking her many hours of summer napping. You are the best. You come here every week. We talk about Final Cut Pro. This is the Final Cut Pro worldwide community. Right here, right now. Every Saturday, we get together. You get your comments. You get everybody makes their comments. The Final Cut Pro team sees the comments. They watch the live streams every Saturday. Final Cutters. That's right. You guys are the Final Cutters. Absolutely. 3 minutes. 3 minutes till 2 hours, and we're going to sign off right around that time. But I just want to thank all of you as usual. Absolutely. You're the best Final Cut Pro audience. Huh. I guess that was there. I had to turn down. I didn't hear it. You're the best Final Cut Pro audience of any Final Cut Pro live stream. You're the best. Look, we got all these thumbs up. I got to keep doing. Final Cutters. So, like I said, there are some special events happening on Final Cut TV over the next 2 weeks. Over the next 2 weeks. I love Final Cut Pro. You Final Cut Pro team, love you guys from the bottom of my heart. Richard Taylor, thank you very much. Simon, he's from Italy. I met Simon at the 2024 Creative Summit. And here's the other thing I was going to say. You know what? I was pleasantly surprised that Final Cut Pro plays back the 8K footage from this. No problem. No dropping frames, no nothing. Bring it in. You can apply the LUT in one of two ways. You can apply it as a plugin, or you can apply it universally to the whole clip. Will the new Apple CEO help? I don't think, besides Steve Jobs, I don't think that the CEO of Apple really makes that much difference to Final Cut Pro. I would be pleasantly surprised if John, is that his name, paid more attention to Final Cut Pro. Well, here's the thing. The Apple Creator Studio subscription bundle, number one, Apple, keep it at that same price, $12.95 per month. Don't start jacking the price up before you even get started. That would be ridiculous. The subscription model, Final Cut Pro being the king of that package, by far, Final Cut Pro is probably 50% of that package. It's by far the most important part of that package. It's the king. So it's bringing in money now. It's a new service that's bringing in money. Monthly, yearly, so it deserves some more attention from everybody. Yes, Apple, hire Richard Taylor. You need serious help with the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit planning. True, when you think about what's in the package. Absolutely. First off, it's a great price, $17.95 a month, $10.75 a month if you do the yearly subscription. If you're an education, college education student or teacher, it's $3 a month. And you can still buy the Final Cut Pro Education Bundle all 5 standalone pro apps for $199. That's probably what I would do. If I go back to school, that's probably what I would do. So, thank you, Kilobyte 808 over there on the Twitch platform. Spread the word, get some more people out there. Absolutely. It's the best deal on the market by far, or buying all 5 standalone apps for $199 is a pretty good deal too. Educational bundle. If you buy a new Mac, that's one of the options. You can buy the educational bundle there. And I think there's another way to get it. It's not available to the general public, but I think if you're in a school, you can probably access it because you need to prove that you're going to school with your school ID, and you need to have a school email address in order to qualify for that. Let me see something here. Oh, there we go. I was just checking on the vertical version of over there on YouTube. Do they have iPad versions? They have iPad versions of Final Cut Pro that's included. iPad version of Final Cut Pro, Logic Pro, iPad. And I think that's all at this point. They don't have compressor on the iPad or motion on the iPad. So they have Final Cut Pro and Logic Pro on the iPad. That's included in that bundle. If you get the subscription, you get those thrown in as well. I have an M2 iPad. I don't know what the cutoff is. There is a cutoff. I know you got to have an M something. I don't know what the cutoff is. But anyway, all right, everybody. If there's a new update, can you actually use the subscription on multiple Macs? Is it possible to use it on 3 or 4? I think so. But you might have to sign out of your iCloud account on one to use the other in order to do that. In other words, you're on this Mac, you can't use it simultaneously on multiple Macs. But if you want to sign out of iCloud on this Mac and sign in on that Mac, yeah, you can use it at that point. I don't know if you can do it any other way. But you can use it on whatever Mac you're using, but you might just sign out and sign back in on iCloud. I think. So. All right, we're going to wind down for today. So here's the deal. Over the next 2 weeks, there's going to be some special events happening on Final Cut TV that you're going to be excited about. And you'll stay tuned. You're subscribed over here. Ring the bell, subscribe, hit the notification bell. You'll be notified. Follow along on YouTube, follow along on X, follow along on Facebook, whatever you like. And you'll be notified when the next event is happening. But if I don't see you before next Saturday, make sure you tune in next Saturday. Absolutely. Special events coming up on Final Cut TV. You, every one of you, are the best of the Final Cut Pro worldwide, Final Cut TV worldwide audience. You're the best, each and every one of you. All right? My name is Richard Taylor. And if I don't see you beforehand, I'll come on live if there's any Final Cut Pro news. If they announce a Final Cut Pro decision, Final Cut Pro Creative Summit decision, if there's an update to Final Cut Pro or any other Final Cut Pro news, I'll come back on in the afternoons. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, whenever, of course. Thing is, if you have the non-education subscription, you can run up to it on 6 computers belonging to members of your family. I'm not sure about that. I don't know how that works, but that's very possible. Thanks for taking care of us on Kilobyte 808 on Twitch TV. Look at that. Somebody else on Twitch TV. What's up? Final Cut Pro is up. We're waiting on the next version of Final Cut Pro. Check back in next Saturday or watch the rerun of this video. I'm going to go, everybody. I will talk to you all later. Thanks for tuning in. Can you play guitar? Yes, I can play guitar. Yes, I can play guitar. Absolutely can play guitar. But that has to wait for another episode. All right, everyone. We will see you all. If not before, we will see you all next week. Absolutely. Talk to everybody later. Until next one, absolutely. Next Saturday, if not before. Thanks, everyone.